If you don't have ChatGPT on your telephone and you're in tech, you're a sharp. The thing with tech is the moment you get to this level, this pedestal you thought was the one, the epitome of everything, you realize there's another ceiling you're yet to reach. For your own good, don't disregard the basics. When you do get that internship, ask to be retained. And then there's this guy called Lagat, who say, Akuka Mimi, and he's trying to micromanage me. And he's still doing the same. Listen, my guy, you will get stoned out here one day.
During attachment, you're earning 15K.
15,000.
You came back after school and you started earning how much?
A trainee was earning 35K.
Your big break came.
I just had the what do I have to lose mentality. 3,800 job applications.
And there's someone who's at their 60th rejection and they want to pull out their hair.
Kenyan companies need to promote from within. Promote everyone. Let everyone go up a step. And then bring the interns weke huku chini. Let them start learning. Let them get those new opportunities. Let them get access. Who's this person who sang this Sweet Dreams Are Made of This?
Beyonce.
It's not Beyonce. Some of them want to use you. Some of them want to be used by you. You need a mix, yeah? Once you fix yourself, you attract the right things. If you want drugs, sit next to guys who do drugs. But you're never the first person to go through something. Ask a lot of questions. The more you question, the more you build your own reality, the more you write your own story, and the more you move away from social norms. Gen Z, viva. Welcome to the hot seat where we're talking tech with Fian today. She invited me to interrogate me, interview me on tech and my life in tech and how I got here. Hi, Fian, how are you doing? Did I get your name right?
Yeah.
I got your name wrong a couple of times actually previously.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
You're supposed to ask me questions,
Yeah.
but I'm done asking you questions.
I am surprised.
Plot twist. Plot twist.
A very big one.
This is what people pay to see. Yeah.
Okay.
So, how are we doing today?
I'm doing very good.
Uh-huh.
I'm very curious. What has been making you happy lately?
Happy lately, apart from my 85-inch Samsung QN85D TV. Review is out, by the way, you should check it out. I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima, and there's like, I'm a big fan of really good stories. And not often you find a movie or a game or a book that tells a really good story. But Ghost of Tsushima tells a really good story. And I'm a big fan of Japanese history, so yeah. That's been the source of my happiness for the past few days. And my two dogs. Pero, Bear, hi. Hi, both girls.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So when did this
I feel like a dad. I'm a dad,
You
yeah?
are a dog dad, yeah. When did your love for gaming start?
My love for gaming, where'd it go? My love for gaming started. Do you remember that blue Motorola? Was it C113? My God, I just showed my age in this room. There was this Motorola phone back in the day, blue screen, and there was this football game on there. And that was basically the whole game. You just make sure that ball doesn't go into the goal. You're just goalkeeping for the whole duration of the game. So, moved from blue screens to colored screens, and the game catalogs on the internet grew. Touched a few games here and there, and then I discovered PlayStation. I'm a PlayStation guy. I don't do Xbox. Might have annoyed so many people with that comment. And at the time, yeah, like I come from a very simple background, yeah? So my folks couldn't get us a PlayStation, so we'd go out, my brother and I would go pay and play PlayStation at some nearby cyber cafe at home. And at that point, it only made sense that you own a PlayStation to do business with it. Kuli purchase up, yes. I never thought me being a small kid that one day, one time, you're gonna own one of these things. And I'm a big believer of things happen when they need to happen. If you look at my phone, the verse that's on there is Isaiah 60:22. And not to get church wise, churchy,
Chachi, chachi.
churchy. But Isaiah 60:22 says, when the time is right, God will make it happen. So yeah, I couldn't believe that one day, one time, I'll have my own setup, my own catalog of games, game when I want a game, and yeah, I think that's where my love for gaming really blossomed, because having the gear, the tech that is really really good to play when you want to play, what you want to play, not having to play, is epic stuff. So yeah.
Zindua School is our sponsor for today. Zindua School is a software and data science school, very well known. If you just Google best schools, best software school in Kenya or coding school in Kenya, Zindua School comes up. And what I really, really like and believe makes Zindua School stand out is that one, the learning is very personalized. You get only a max of 10 students per class. And most importantly, if you're someone who's just straight out of campus and you're like, I really want to do software development and learn it, you can buy now or learn now and pay later. So you don't have to pay the full school fees all at once. You can either have an income share agreement where pay a small amount and then you will be able to pay the rest when you start working, or lipa pole pole. So sign up or just click the link down below to get more information about Zindua School if you're interested in software development or data science. If you're thinking, I just want to touch a bit, they also have light programs like web design and data analysis. And you're thinking, Fian, I'm actually more specialized. I want to do a very specific course like DevOps. That's also available with Zindua School. As a personal side note, I've known the founders for about 2 years now, really good friends, and a very trusted brand that I am really excited to be working with to present young techies. So click the link down below, do your due diligence, make sure you also have a why. Why do I want to do this? As Hez said, the first thing you want to do is internalize why I'm doing this and see if the program fits your why and your purpose.
I've actually just finished editing the review of the Samsung Q85D TV, and I was going through the numbers as well, because there's another separate video I'm working on, because for Samsung AI energy management, and it showed the numbers in June when I got the TV, and when I turned on AI management for power. In June alone, I spent over 5,000 bob on electricity because of gaming. Everything in my house. People know how my house looks, all the tech inside, but the two things that drain the most power in that house is the PlayStation 5 and the TV, because I'm gaming a lot. The experience is just different when you're gaming on hardware that has a really high ceiling compared to what I was used to previously. Yeah.
People have the misconception that gamers, a poor misconception, perhaps a wrong one.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us about that? That gamers don't take things seriously. They just game all day. There's that misconception that goes
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
What would you say around that? Given your success
Yeah.
now.
Gaming is a way of life. Number one, I believe everyone deserves and needs an out. Like, how do I put it? Everyone needs and deserves to decompress every now and then. And that can take many forms. You go ride your bike, you can go swimming, you can go play football, you can go play rugby, you can play games in your house. An introvert, if you ask my babe, she wouldn't say I'm an introvert, because you stay here in the house the whole time. So she's seen all flavors of me. And if you put me next to people, I'll go with people. But if you gave me a choice to choose what to do, I'll stay in the house. On a weekend, I'll stay in the house. I work from home, so I'm always in the house. So it's weird that during the weekend, when I'm off work, I still don't stay in the house. So it comes back to what I was saying, it's just all about decompressing. How you want to decompress and what works for you. Okay? Because when you look at the gaming industry, or just the gaming in general, people have made gaming into full-fledged careers that feed their families. They travel on that. generate massive income compared to people who work normal 8 to 5s. Yeah. Gaming has saved people from depression. I know it has for me. Gaming, man, there's just the feeling you get when you boot up the game. Think of it like this: you're done with work from a long day at the office. You come back home. You don't need to cook. You don't need to do dishes. You just eat what was there. You're done eating. You sit down. You boot your favorite game, and you just relax. There's that feeling. There's that feeling. You just feel your controller vibrate, and bro. So whoever's saying that gamers don't do anything substantial in their lives is lying. Maybe change the people you're around, change your friends, change your perception of life. Two, you can't say that about people. I don't like generalizing things or putting people in in a box and saying that this box is for people who do this, that, the fourth, unless you drink whiskey, in which case you beat women. Saying,
So
okay,
you've
yeah,
told us where your journey with gaming began.
yeah,
I want to understand where you met tech, where
okay,
you started getting the hints that, oh, I'm really curious about this. I'm really interested in this.
yeah. I've always had a very curious mind since I was a kid. Yeah. I didn't grow up in Nairobi. I grew up in West Indies, where life is very, very simple. Life is very slow. Life is very calm. And that's when just with that short description, that's not an area that inspires a lot of tech.
Yeah.
Yeah. So came to Nairobi for school. Went through the system. Yeah.
Primary or high school?
Yeah, primary school. And at that point as well, my mom had already set up life in Nairobi. So it was just coming to stay in Nairobi with mom and study, right? So went through school, and in high school, I remember my first ever science project that went all the way to nationals. Yeah, was about a machine that could measure the weight of objects using water. Simple physics, where you put water in a balloon, put the balloon in a box or any type of casing, and at the mouth of the balloon, there's going to be a tube. And on that tube, there's going to be markings. Yeah. So physics says if you put an object in water, it's going to displace its own weight in water. It's going to displace its own, it's the equivalent of its own weight. Yeah. The Eureka principle. So if you negate the weight of the balloon that is in the water and you put the object on that balloon, it's gonna displace its own weight. So when the water moves up that gauge, it's gonna tell you the weight of that object. That was my first.
Kuna watu wamepotea, but ni sawa.
Yeah, that was my first experience in tech. And I think going all the way up to nationals and meeting other students like myself who had the same brain, people you could sit down and have a conversation on tech and go on and on for days. That was what unlocked my mind. And I was like, oh, okay. So I don't really want to become a pilot anymore. I don't want to go build houses and roads anymore as a civic engineer. I want to give this tech thing a shot, yeah? Fast forward, finish high school, and I interned for my uncle's company. He's a contractor for Safaricom. So we're building in Safaricom's internet infrastructure down in Coast Province, right? So much as Wi-Fi, much as connection, point-to-point connections for companies, etc. That's us doing. So now I'm straight out of high school with this seed that wants to be intact. And then it grows properly when I actually get hands-on with serious tech, right? And this was before university, before I joined JQuat. So yeah, I left that internship, joining university to do computer technology, cause that sealed it for me. I was like, okay, so this is so cool. How I can connect two companies over miles and they'll still communicate and get things done, send files, receive messages, etc. I want to get into the nitty gritties of that, right? So that's where my tech journey began. So went to university, did a tech related course, interned again for at a tech company, and that tech company again unlocked another level in my mind.
What level?
Wow, we can go on and on about this.
Go on.
There's what I knew straight from high school, sorry, the the tech I had experienced at my uncle's company. That was just the high level stuff, you know. At that time, my brain is so small. I'm still a kid, so I'm thinking, oh, this is it. So you grow, study more, go do more technical hands-on, and you realize whatever that was child's play compared to what technology really is. So now I'm learning how to protect tech. I'm learning how to hack into stuff. I'm learning how to some things I can't say because of NDA, but you get the idea. And that is where now from on whilst interning, that was the networking side of things. And then I elevated into the cybersecurity aspect of things, yeah? How to protect stuff, how to infiltrate stuff, how to exfiltrate data, etc, etc. There's a whole nine yards to it. I'm actually still, in as much as I've accomplished so much in the cybersecurity field at such a young age, I'm still on the up and up on that ladder. And every time, the thing with knowledge, for me, the thing with knowledge, the thing with cybersecurity, the thing with tech is the moment you get to this level, this pedestal you thought was the one, the epitome of everything, you realize there's another ceiling you're yet to reach. So it's a continuous cycle. You get there, you work so hard, you get there, you get what you wanted, and you realize so this was just it. Like there's still more out there that you can go for. So yeah, it's still an upward trajectory. It will probably go until I retire, until I die. So yeah, tech tech is different. It's a whole thing. Yeah.
I want to know when exactly, is it during the internship that you then started your journey on cybersecurity? Because there are a lot of people who've taken, like, they've done computer science, they've done BBIT, and they're curious, how do I get into cybersecurity? So I really want to understand where that journey began.
Okay. For the kid in university watching this, doing any tech related course, there's things that you need to understand. Firstly, with tech, you can't ignore the basics. You can never ignore the basics. You have to crawl, you have to walk, you have to run, then you fly. You can't start running before you walk. And that's a really common misconception that people have about tech, that you just need to go do this one quick short course and you're in and you're making six figures. It doesn't work like that. The tech industry is very cutthroat. It'll chew you, it'll spit you out if you don't start with the basics. It really pains me because I've also dabbled as a cybersecurity teacher these days. It really pains me when someone wants to join my classes and they're telling me of how they had to pay X amount of hundreds of thousands of Kenya shillings to this school to teach them cybersecurity because they package it as a course. But they don't have the basics. At the basics of everything in technology is a network. How this your phone will talk to my phone, how my computer will hook onto the internet. It's a network. How I'll send you a text and you receive a text and you send it back. It's a network. So start at the basics. Once you've mastered the basics, you can now specialize. The thing with tech, the beauty in tech is specialization can come at any juncture in your journey. So for example, okay, you're starting at the basics, yeah? You're doing tech, you're understanding networking, you master it. So you choose to take it to the next level. You either go to network security, network infrastructure, network architecture. Like you either protect a network, you either build a network, you either compromise a network, etc. That what. Now, when you look at those three examples, for you to infiltrate a network, you have to understand how to protect a network. A policeman can't understand how to catch a thief without knowing how the thief behaves. A thief can't steal from you without knowing how to break through your defenses. Do you see how they're all interconnected? So, in this case, the policeman protecting the network can choose to become the thief infiltrating the network. because because the policeman knows what to look out for, what to protect, where the gaps are, how to mitigate threats, etc., etc. Right? So you see, in that small scenario, you already have three different careers you can diversify and specialize into. Right? Now, move from that, you can choose to move on to cybersecurity monitoring, where your work, okay, that's what I majorly do, is to just sit in front of 4 or 5 screens, look at the network, look at the threats traversing the network, look at data moving from point A to point B. Is it being infiltrated? Is it being exfiltrated? This starts the fourth, right? I can't do that if I don't have the basics of networking, because I'm monitoring a network at any given time. So I need to understand a network before I protect it. Okay? It goes on and on and on, but every facet of tech and cybersecurity, if we're going to be more specific, is related. Be it data security, even going all the way up to policy making and the business aspect of things, the procurement side of things, the project management side of things. You cannot be a project manager to a project. Say we are procuring some servers that need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for our clients. You can't be the project manager for that project if you don't understand a lot, and that's why stay in school, kids. Stay in school. You don't get you don't get street knowledge. Eh? Stay in school and don't give up. It gets hard. It's always gonna be hard. It's gonna get hard. You're gonna fail. Do it over and over and over again. Fail even more. Learn more. And the more you fail, the more you learn, the better you get at the problem. That's the course. Yeah.
Let's talk to Daisy.
Okay.
Daisy did completely, she did film, but she's very, very interested in cyber. And you're telling her that the basics is to learn networking.
Now, for her, networking can't apply.
Okay.
She has to go to the basics of a computer. When you asked me about this kid doing computer science, computer technology, BBIT, that child is already at a different category in the tech world, or that progression in tech, because they already know how to code, because that's what you taught day one in university. You already know your way around a computer. Okay, you know the smallest things like how to open a Word document. You know that. Now you can't put that. You can't put Daisy. You can't put Daisy in that category because she's done film. Her day one in university was how to turn on a camera, compared to Edward's day one in computer science, which was how to code a website. Yeah, you can't put those two kids in one category. So Daisy has to go down to the nitty gritties, understand how to use a computer first. Okay, understand how to create different environments on one PC, for example, right? Because different IDEs, different software programming languages will they need different environments to run on your PC. Okay, it's a whole thing. You have to prepare you just can't use a normal PC to do some things in tech. You have to prepare it. You have to create what is called the environment to do such things. Yeah? So this is gonna start at a much lower level compared to Edward, who has a different understanding or entry points in the curricula of tech.
So where would Daisy start? Because, we want to give her a roadmap.
Yeah.
She probably knows how to work her way around a computer.
Okay.
So should she do a software engineering course? What are these basics for her?
Basics for Daisy. One, she understands how to run a computer, so she's gonna need to start from the networking side of things now. Okay? Build a simple network. One router, one computer, make them communicate, make this computer pull internet from this router. Simple as that. Now, grow that to 2 computers and a router. Grow that to 3 computers, 2 routers, and a switch. Grow that, and you're now creating different. I'm gonna go too deep into that.
It's okay.
So you see that gradual progression? For Daisy, you have to start with 1 computer, 1 router. Move her to the next after she's understood that. Move her to the next. With Edward, who has an inkling of all these terminologies and this tech, etc., you can choose to brute force them a little bit, push them a little bit harder. Now, where this thing where teachers say go read ahead of the teacher, go do this on your own, go research on this. You can't do that with Edward, you can't do that with Daisy. So you have to take Daisy pole pole in networking. Amalize, how is her interest? Because another thing people really gloss over is interest. Because you get into this thing and you do networking and you realize, oh, I actually don't want to do this thing anymore. So you'd rather find that out way early on when you're doing the basics than come start dealing with that when you're doing the advanced heavy stuff. Okay? And that is also a medium of introducing someone to the industry. If they introduced you, let's take the example of bike riding. When you're a baby, you're gonna ride the small bike with training wheels. So you learn how to ride, balance, etc. Get rid of the training wheels. Still on the same bike. Keep going, and as you grow, your size grows, etc. You graduate to a bigger bike. Now, think of if they put you on a bigger bike on day one. You wouldn't want to get back on that bike. Exact same thing. My camera. Don't disregard the basics. Please. For your own good, don't disregard the basics. Just like the example of a bike, you have to get the basics. So this sham of schools that are charging people 200K to teach them cybersecurity, throw these poor kids into really heavy stuff. One thing I don't like about our industry and people who have knowledge is how they gatekeep it. Is how wanataka kuogopa. You want someone to fear you just because you're a cybersecurity expert. Doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. See you. So I'm a firm believer, if you teach something, you master it.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you, even if you're being selfish, why wouldn't you want to master what you already know, even by just teaching someone? So you're here instilling fear into someone's kid, saying, oh, this is the hardest stuff. Oh, do you know I used to sleep hungry 5 nights? Just come on. Come on. So Daisy, if you're seeing this, engineer way around a computer, start from the basics. Your interest is gonna guide what you do next. So if you're starting from the basics, that is networking, and you wanna now dive deeper into networking, for example, there's network programming side of things, there is the network security aspect of things. You're going to find so many points of interest that can now judge what next. Because now, if you're network programming, let's say you don't have interest in building network solutions that are going to be used by other people to carry out rather take care of their networking needs. Now you can choose to go deeper into software engineering. Okay, you have the knowledge of networking, what you want a network to achieve or what you want a solution to achieve. Now you're gonna be learning skills of how to use what you want that product, that software to achieve to build the product itself.
Okay.
Simple.
So
Basics, kids, basics.
we have Daisy, we talked to Edward, and now we have Brian. Brian, who went to that school, went to the school where he learned cybersec from the onset. He has a certification. Please speak to Brian.
Let me speak to Brian because Brian was in my DMs just the other day. Yeah? So Brian hits me up, yeah? Basics, kids, basics. So Brian hits me up and asks, hey, how long does your cybersec course go for? And I tell him, it depends on how long you want to study. You want the basics, you want the deep skills, it depends. He goes, networking mainly. I have below average skills on networking. Goes ahead to list some networking topics, yeah? And he goes, so I want the deep skills. So I tell him, we'll have to still start you on the networking basics because we don't have networking basics in the first place, yeah? And then we're gonna go deeper into the other aspects of networking, network security, network enterprise, the nine yards. And I ask, how fast can you learn and do exams? Because that is another aspect of things. How Daisy is gonna learn, understand, and do exams will differ from Brian, who will learn slower, take more time, fail, redo, etc. before they get a concept, right? Time is also very, very important, right? We're not the same. We're not all mentally gifted similarly, right? So the story goes on, and he goes, I'm asking because nimelipia course ya CEH, and I just went through the outline, nika realize I'll be fucked. So I kind of need tutoring and guidance on it because I have zero networking skills. Now you tell me, you've paid 200K. This school has given you some certificate saying you're cybersecurity ready, but you don't have. Okay, number one, that certificate may or may not be recognized out here compared to the other certificates you might get elsewhere. So you've lost your 200K. You have a certificate that may or may not be recognized where you go looking for work. Two, you've now paid for another exam, which you're ill prepared to do. What is happening? Don't disregard the basics. Stay in school, Viva.
Okay.
Do you get those different facets of what you've just talked about? Because what is Brian now going to do?
What is he going to do now?
Because now he has an exam that he's supposed to do. Best he can do is probably move it, and that's not an exam you can move for too long. So depending on when he does move it, before that date, he needs to have understood networking deeply
Okay.
before taking that exam, because that exam doesn't care if you are a beginner in networking, intermediate, advanced level. It doesn't care. You have to have deep understanding, deep knowledge of a network. You have to understand a network. It's the same way back in school, a teacher will teach you 2 plus 2 is 4, but in the exam and a letter 3 plus 1. Now if you didn't understand how to get 4 from 2 plus 2, 3 plus 1 is gonna shake you nicely. Yeah, so the basics, man.
Okay.
Don't ignore the basics. Don't be in a rush to come out here, make big money because you thought, oh, Hezion just got a brand new Samsung QN85D 2024 TV, and think, oh, this is from cybersecurity. So if I do this one course in 2-3 months, I'll also, bro. I've been doing this for 8 years of my life, man. Hard. Next, why am I asking you questions? You're the babe with the questions, man. Come.
Now, you said basics. We've understood basics
Yeah.
for all three personas. And you've mentioned a recognizable certificate. What would you say are the most important certifications that these three could get that would actually transform their career in a good way?
Honestly, in cybersecurity, certifications are too many. There are too many. If we just pulled up, if we went to LinkedIn right now and pulled up different jobs asking for the same job role, they're all going to be asking for different certificates. So if I started naming certificates for you right now, that will be misguiding someone. Because I'm currently studying, because I'm at a very, not to brag, I've reached a level in my cybersecurity journey where I want to move off the technical aspect of things and transition directly to management, right? I want to manage teams of people. I've done it before, but now I want to do it like this is what I do when I wake up in the morning. I'm just answering emails, catching flights to go get more, to go do more meetings, that, and the fourth. So I've got a guide for myself here as well, and I'll just take you through 2 or 3 of the dockets that I'm looking at settling into, right? So, Chief Information Security Officer, CISO, and then there's Information Security Manager, and then I want to also say you venture into risk and compliance management, right? So for CISO, I'll need CISSP, CISM, CompTIA Security Plus, GIEC, GSEC, and CISO. For Information Security Manager, I'll need CISSP, I'll need CISM, I'll need CompTIA Security Plus, GIEC, GSEC. you can already see those are 4 certificates running in the same, in 2 different job meanings, yeah? Risk compliance manager, CISSP, CRISC, CISA, GSEC, CRMP. Now you've added the 3rd, but that needs 4 new, completely unrelated certifications. So I can't, in good conscience, sit here and tell you, go do this certification, go do this certification, and then you'll get here. You can't. Because the journey I used to become a CISO isn't the same journey you'll use to become a CISO. I'll do network security and drop off at some level because my interest is done, because I want to chase harder things, because I want to do something different, right? You will do network security to the end, get other certificates past where I dropped off, get other certificates, and we will still come and be the same person, the same CISO in the end. So I can't, the only certificates you need, KCPE, excuse me, kuna KCPE kweli? KCSE, your degree, etc. Those are the only ones I can tell you to have.
Okay.
Past that, your path, the path you choose in cybersecurity, with your interest, with your skills, that is what is going to determine the certificates you're going to be getting.
Okay.
Either way, they're very lucrative certifications. They hold water. You know something is serious when you have to renew that certification, that license, every few years. Just like doctors, right? Because tech is always changing. Tech is always growing. So you have to still go back to school, refresh your knowledge, get certified again, get licensed again. So I'm not going to sit here and tell kids out there watching this what certifications to go for. Because what they're just going to do as well, because they're unguided, they're going to go into Google, where can I get a CISM certificate? And study that. They've not studied the basics. They've not grown. They've not practiced. It's a mess.
So, in conclusion,
Yeah.
get the basics
Uh-huh.
and explore with your interests.
Exactly.
So get guided by your interests. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Before I get back to, because I'm still at Friends Kamusinga, I want to paint the picture. For the
Biggest school ever. Yo, point the camera at me. French school Kamusinga, went there, loved it to bits. Bro, that school was epic. We struggled, we suffered. I could have sold land in Karen for 2 loaves of bread. That's how hard life was. Left there with a swimming pool though. Bro, I miss that camaraderie. Sometimes I'm just sat in the house and I'm like, it's 4 p.m. saying ningekuwa nacheza ligi ndogo. You know what ligi ndogo is? No. Ligi ndogo is where 1 football, 50 kids, and a goalpost this size. And there's still gonna be like 2-3 boys shining. Wanachenga kila msee. And they're still scoring goals amidst the 50. And the goal is yay big. Miss you, French school Kamusinga. There's a teacher there who told me I'd never amount to anything.
Ooh.
This is for you. I made it. I made it. Why are you telling me? Yeah, French school Kamusinga is a big school, man. Big school.
Friends school, you went to JQuat and did a
Strongly.
computer degree,
Yeah.
and started to dive deeper when you got your internship into cybersecurity.
Yeah.
So after your internship, how did you land your first job?
So from there, so my scenario, right? Left internship, first year, JQuat, did the first year things, second year things. Gets to third year, right?
Are you serious? Were you a serious kid in campus?
How do you answer such a question?
You can. Did you, like, were you?
Oh, no.
Like-
Okay. Okay. You know, it's a Saturday in high school, in French school Kamusinga. There's those kids who go to entertainment because it's Saturday. And there's those kids who go to class. I was that kid who went to entertainment and sat at the front.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, in campus as well.
If that was me in high school, you can tell who I was in campus.
Okay.
But me, usoma. I read and I understand. Because my mom said she will not live with failures in her house.
Okay.
So you had to pass exams, like it or not. Okay, jokes aside. So first year, second year, third year, fourth year. Now you have to keep in mind that during this whole time, I was already doing my certifications and courses on the side alongside schoolwork
In campus.
in campus.
Wow, okay. Let's pause there. Where did you get this knowledge? Is there anyone guiding you? Or you just
Okay. Now this knowledge, firstly, okay, let's say we talk about knowledge. The skill, the fire was lit in my internship immediately after high school. So I left it thinking, how can I further this? Because I can't go sit and just study my coursework at JQuat and not practice or learn more knowledge on the side and expect to come out and just pick up from where I was. Because I, from very early, understood tech moves on very, very fast. Yeah. Me as a tech guru right now, I'm gonna get to a certain age and tech is gonna leave me behind. Where my kids will understand tech more than I do. Yet I'm the one who taught them tech. It's just life. It's just circle of life in tech. Yeah? So as I'm doing my coursework, etc., I'm still taking other certifications on the side.
what certifications are these?
I started from the basics. I started from the basics because kumbuka, while I was interning, I wasn't doing any certifications. Mimi nilikuwa mtu wa mkono. Tunaenda site, I see how routers are being configured, how switches are being configured. We go up, you see these red and white masts? Towers.
Ah, the thing.
The things.
No, the
It's the Eiffel Tower. It looks like an
no,
Eiffel
what is it
Tower.
called actually?
A base station.
No, what do we call it?
You call them masts.
Is it? It's not. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I go there, I see how I see how the job is done, right? So all this time, I'm an apprentice. I'm seeing it being done, and then I do, right? I now, in the current modern world, in as much as apprentice will work, you still need papers.
Yeah.
So I had to justify, rather put papers to my skills that I already learned as an intern, right? And I had now to tie that into still learning more knowledge that is being taught at school. So those are, when you look at this, like 3 different jobs you're doing at the same time. So you already did the technical bit. You started riding the Black Mamba before you rode the cart with training wheels. So now you have to go now to the training wheels, learn the basics, get certified to now be able to use that Black Mamba legally, right? Because again, I realized that I just, and this is a very skewed, and I hope the world does change. Because in the tech industry, it's actually going there slowly by slowly. But we need to move away from papers only and also show the skill. Okay? Because I had the skill, but I couldn't show it before presenting the paper. So now I'd have to come present the paper and say, okay, I'm certified like this. I said, oh, you have a certificate and license? Okay, good. Now show us the technical side of things. Okay. Yeah.
So at this point, you're doing networking.
Yeah, genuinely, the whole of uni from year 1 to year 3. Year 3 is when you go for external attachment, yeah? Yeah, it was purely networking I was doing.
Okay.
Yeah, the basics went to the advanced level, the intermediate levels. Then the advanced levels I touched when I got the internship. Right. And one thing I usually tell my students, and I also usually advise them to, rather on top of like interview preps, this, that, the fourth, prepping your CV, whatever. When you do get that internship, ask to be retained. Very, like, people gloss over this. There's this, correct if I'm wrong, there's this verse in the Bible that says, ask and ye shall receive. Just ask. I think that's that's the mentality that's gotten me so far in life. I ask a lot of questions and I have nothing to lose.
That's true.
Because if you have nothing to lose, what will they do? They can't beat you. You can't ask to be retained in GSU on you. Ask to be retained because they will. And the thing about internship is this, with companies, tech companies, yeah? You ask to be retained and they say, okay, yeah, you can come back. So you come back, you can't keep doing the same things you are doing.
Yeah.
You are taught the skills, they're gonna sponsor you, they're gonna pay for you gladly. Because they've retained you and they see future in you. Okay? Granted, this is with everything held constant, by the way. You turn up to work on time, You're humble, you're not rubbing shoulders with anyone, you listen, you're sendable, you're teachable, etc. Like there's so much that goes on to it as you as a human being. Because a company can only do so much. But if you're an arrogant, don't want to listen, you're beginning with everybody, they'll only have you for so long.
Okay.
They only do as like they will want to get rid of you as soon as possible, basically. So they'll teach you these things, they'll pay for those certificates for you, you'll go do them. But then one thing people need to be really careful with when said companies are paying for your certifications, etc., to teach you, to train you, is the bonds they put you on. Because they'll teach you, they'll pay for your courses, etc., and then they'll put you on a bond and say, okay, we don't want this money back. We did it from the goodness of our heart, but now you have to serve this company for another 2 years. The bond. And there's going to be terms stipulating how you'll stay there for those 2 years. In the event you choose to exit before your bond period is over, you will now have to refund us X amount times what is left on your bond.
That happens.
Happens every time. Happens every time. I remember back in the day, I never lose texts. Back in the day, I can sit and look for that contract, that bond contract that I was on at the company that retained me after internship and took me in for training. If you see, I think I had to do another 1 year with them. Else, I'd have to give back the money they'd spent on me, I think times 3 or 4. I can't really remember. Before I exited. And that's during that notice period that you gave before you exit. Now, if in the event you are unable to, they'll just deduct it off what they're paying you. Right?
Okay.
Yeah. So be very careful about those bonds and those education methodologies, rather, curricula that a company does choose to sponsor you for. When you grow up and you have more experience, you're earning more money and you're working for better companies, what happens is that company may choose to sponsor you for free, minus any bonus, because you already achieved that. 2, they might choose to loan you the money for you to go and study. And then they'll just check it off your salary, pole until it's fully paid. It can be done in various steps of methods, but it's still the same way. So you just need to be very careful about those terms. If you don't like those terms, there's no shame in it. You can save up and pay for those courses yourself. Yeah.
Let's go back to getting your attachments. The company you got it at, was it related to cybersecurity? How did you get it? Because I'm very curious. Edward is seated somewhere and he's looking for an attachment. He's like, I'll take anything. And he ends up taking a small company in Upper Hill where he's just like a marketing assistant or something. I want
Has to be Upper Hill, man. My company was in Upper Hill. It's always Upper Hill.
So I want to know, how did you get your attachments?
Yeah.
Was it geared to what you wanted?
Yeah. So I'm very fortunate to have people ahead of me in my family who have been where I am. And they're very ready to help. Not those uncles, where's my camera? Not those uncles who tell you, send me your CV. Always. Send me your CV. Bro, those ones are bad. There's the diabolical ones where you meet and they lie to you, CV yako nilipeana, yet you never gave them your CV. Diabolical human beings.
Honestly, don't you think we have become those people? I've gotten several CV. I'm like, just send me your CV. I feel like that.
Why don't you just be honest?
No, if you do have the chance, you can shoot.
Maybe by then I'll just tell you, hey, by the way, I've gone through your CV. It's really nice. When I do meet or when I'm sat at a table and the people that want your skill, I'm gonna give them your CV and I'm gonna push. Because now what I'm doing is I'm giving you a promise that I will push for you, I will vouch for you on my reputation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in the event it does get there, because I've done it before, recently even, there's someone wanted an attachment straight out of school. They didn't have no CV. Kaniambia mazimi saa hata mtakupa CV gani? I was like, yeah, you can't give me no CV. So what I'll do, I'll just tell them the course you've done, etc, etc, and we'll take it from there. So I'm sat at this meeting and they needed an intern. I was like, oh, by the way, I know a guy and he can do this job. Or like he's teachable. I've met the guy, know the guy personally. He's a really good kid. He has the zeal to learn. He's hardworking. Like, okay, then you saved us cost on having to interview people. So yeah, kid got the internship and is doing really well for himself. Yeah. Actually invited me for drinks one of these fine days on his bill. But I can't take money from a kid. You go buy your friends those drinks. Okay? And then you'll come buy me a car. Back when you establish. Yeah, so back to what he was talking about. What were we talking about?
Talking about your uncle.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm fortunate to have people in my family who will help. They won't gatekeep your success or stand in front of your success, in your success. So yeah, I just reached out again, just asked. I was like, hey, I'm doing this course. I need some help getting attachment. Can anyone here help me? This is in my family group. So yeah, some reached out. So what does your course entail? They needed to know what, that way they can place me somewhere appropriate. And yeah, I was given a link to apply, did a few tests just to make sure that I actually merit. You know, because in as much as me, my family by there kunanga cha free. If they're gonna give you an opportunity, you have to earn it. Because again, it's their reputation on the line. You can't go there and mess up and then now they say, hey, huyu kijana wana mi anakuwaga hivi. You can't. So yeah, did the tests, the preliminaries, among other kids, and I was the only one who passed. So they took me. And then yeah, I went through. Yeah, it was a cybersecurity. Okay, it's a networking firm, right? But they later on split the company into other child companies. Yeah. So I was placed into the child company that was not supposed to offer cybersecurity services, security monitoring services, and we had very big clients, so you couldn't afford to mess up. So that's where it started. So now I'm building a company from scratch. Have to do the building bit for the company, the mother company. Have to do the building bit for myself because I have to get the certifications, get this knowledge, etc, etc. I have to get the right staff, make sure they know the job, teach them the job. A lot.
And you're earning 15K.
No, bro, at this time I was making some good money, my G. I mean, bro, you think they'll put you in to build another company and you're an intern? Can't happen, my guy.
So, okay, during attachment, you're earning 15K.
15,000.
You came back after school and you started earning how much?
So, came back after school and now they made me a trainee.
Okay.
A trainee, I was earning 35K.
Okay.
Cash money.
Net.
Bro, nilikuwa najua ikifika unapewa hivi kwa bahasha. Cash money. Then did my training with all the schooling, the certifications, the licenses I was doing at the time. Then 6 months later, they made me a consultant.
Okay.
Bumped up my salary again. Now I was paying bigger taxes.
How much was that?
I was earning about 98K.
Net.
No, like before taxes.
Okay.
Yeah. So consultant for another 8 months, and then they made me an engineer. Yeah. So an engineer. So when you look at the space between being an intern and finally making it to being an engineer, it's long. 3 months. Went back to school for a whole year.
Okay.
Came back, did another 3 months. Okay. Finished those 3 months. Went on and did another 8 months. Finished, and then when I was made an engineer, I had to do another another 6 months of probation before they could give me pension and all those other benefits and perks. So when you look at just the between internship and being an engineer, that's a long period of time, and I was still in school. Yeah.
And you already started in first year.
Yeah.
All the certifications.
Exactly.
So background.
This.
Okay. Now
Sasa nafikiria hapa tafanya certificate moja alafu.
you're an engineer now. You're an engineer now. When do you say
I love being an engineer.
your big break came?
I never had a big break.
Interesting. Take us.
I never had a big break. I just had the what do I have to lose mentality. I have this repository where I forward screenshots of all the rejection emails I got. I just want to show my kids, just for fun. I'm gonna be like, hey, do you know I was rejected X amount of time? Guess me if you can how many screenshots?
1,000, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000.
3,850 thereabout.
Anytime you're rejected, you put it there.
Anytime I'm rejected, I take a screenshot of the email and I upload it to that repository.
3,000.
3,800 and something.
Wow.
3,800 job applications.
And there's someone who's at their 60th rejection and they want to pull out their hair. Wow.
And it's just that I have nothing to lose. Do you know how dangerous that mentality makes someone? Because there's nothing to find. They'll just reject you. Ama? They'll just send me a reject. In fact, don't even call me to say no. They'll put it on email. I might miss the email. Yeah, just go ahead. Just go do it. Because I remember when I became an engineer at the company I interned for, and they saw so much potential in me. But at this point, again, with my go-getter mentality, and this might be me being ungrateful, but I was getting to a point where I was feeling undervalued.
Interesting.
Because Gen Z, Viva, I'm looking at everything that's happening at my progression, at my studies, and then I look at the money, and then I look at the responsibilities I have at home, and then I look at the things I want, and I'm like, y'all ain't paying me enough, bruv.
This is 1 year after campus.
Yeah.
And you're earning about 98,000.
As an engineer, I was earning about 120.
1 year after campus.
Yeah.
And you were like, this is not enough.
Not 120, 160.
160.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not being paid enough.
Okay. Then what did you do?
Like, yeah, man, I ain't being paid enough. And then at this point now, you start seeing the bullshit. Previously, you weren't there. So you could cower, you're humble. Msana fanya ufala, you let it slide. This, But when you get to a point where you realize you are, and you're like, I'm not getting paid enough, man. So you start seeing through the stuff that's happening around you, how you're being managed, you want better people relations, etc. You start getting pissed. You start drawing lines, putting boundaries, Previously, if someone would come and just sit at your desk and you'd come find them there and go find another desk, you now start drawing lines around that. You're like, hey, check your boss. This is my desk. You find your desk, mate. If they bring vurugu, you also, yeah? So I was like, yeah, man, not being paid enough. So I started applying for other jobs whilst at my current then job.
Bigger roles.
Bigger roles. And by the way, that's another thing people really need to step into, for lack of a better word. You have the skills, you have the certifications, but the experience, like the years of experience. I'm sorry to say, HR, okay, I'm very lucky right now to work at a company where the oldest person is 40 years old. Siku ya maandamano si wote hatuko ofisini. Chukue na HR kwa street. You get. So being on both sides of the divider, I can see where the hiring profession is gonna go and end up. Because we're slowly moving away from years of experience to demonstrable skills. You might have 10, 11 years of experience, but your skills are not as demonstrable as me, who just left campus the other day with 2 years of experience.
What are demonstrable skills?
You basically just need to demonstrate you have the skill and you can use it and you can implement it in different ways. Because look at this. This person, this mzee with 15 years experience has had it on the job, which is okay. I don't gloss over that. You have to have experience on the job.
Yeah.
But look at this other kid who has had 80-90% of what this mzee got on the job in school. Alifunzwa shuleni. It was in the book. He was doing exams on it. He's done exams on, he's accomplished, quote unquote, 15 years of experience in 4 5 years. So akitoka, he already, in as much as it's not hands-on per se, he has that knowledge. He can fumble and make it. So he just needs at most 2 weeks on the job to now, okay, relate what I learned at school with the skills and the tools on the ground. Right? So we are slowly moving away from hiring on basis of years of experience. And lately, for fun, I usually just go to LinkedIn and look at job listings. And slowly, slowly, out of every four, you'll find one not asking for work experience. Like 5 6 years of work experience, right? It's demonstrable skills. If we put you in a room with this server and we locked you in, by the time you come out, would you have accomplished the task we told you to accomplish? Would you have, what if you didn't accomplish 100% of it, would you have done something? We can say, okay, this part in Yelibaki, we can teach him or her on the job. You see?
Yeah.
Because even my current my interview for the job I got this year, out for an international company, and they were like, "You have a really good CV, but we really don't care." Day one, we really don't care. We really don't care.
Doing this.
They told me we really don't care. We just want to see your knowledge and your skills. So we sat in like a 4 hour interview, and they're asking me questions and I answer. And it was the person who interviewed me is my colleague right now. And any chance I get with this guy, we usually just talk tech, serious trends in the market, serious like how the threats are evolving every day. And we just talk. And every time I talk to this guy, I remember the conversations we were having during the interview. Because the interview was about 60 questions. We only ended up doing about 15. And that's because we went into depth on so many other things in between with my lizard time interview. Yeah. So much so, we had to do another separate interview because he now went to present his report, and it was only 15 questions out of 60. So he was sent back to interview me again and make sure we had done more questions. So we are moving more and more away from years of experience to demonstrable skills.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you are applying for bigger roles.
Yeah.
Way beyond your experience.
Yeah.
Tell us how you land your next job.
So I applied. And I was like, what do I have to lose? So I'm chilling, minding my business, and a week later, the bank reaches out.
Kez, pause. This was for a senior role.
No. This wasn't for a senior role, by the way. This was for a normal, someone had left, we need someone to fill this position kind of. It was not a senior role at the bank.
What was the name of the role?
Oh, the role. We just did a SOC analyst.
Okay.
They did a SOC analyst, my guy. I was like, it's confusing this, man. So I go in. A week later, they're like, hey, we loved your CV, this, that, the fourth, you meet the requirements. Can you come and interview? So, okay, the job listing had years of experience, and I got the years of experience because Kumbuka, I was working between internship to being an engineer. It met that criteria. Like, cool. Went in between I had built some projects, some tools rather, to help me do security assessments, right? So we're talking, they're interviewing me, they're asking me very light questions. And I was like, okay, this is a bank that is interviewing people like this. Genuinely, the questions they're asking were so simple. Like, nizile vitu unaweza soma before uingie na washe. You get? So I was like, okay, I got this in the bag, right?
You got
And
this.
but me, I knew it was inside. Iko ndani mbaya. So in the interview, they then asked me, from your experience in cybersecurity as a SOC analyst, what projects do you have that you're really proud of? So I gave them a few examples, and then I pulled out the big guns, the tools I had created to help me in my cybersecurity work. And I demonstrated them to the panel, hooked my laptop up to the TV, showed them how it worked. They asked questions, and I'm on my laptop doing, so I can modify this tool here like this, make it do this to answer your, bro.
They're like, we
Man,
gotta see.
so they sat me down. What are you earning? What's your salary right now? I was like, this is what I'm making.
Were you honest about that?
Yeah, at that time I was a dumb kid, so I was very honest. Because I was like, it's a bank, and my salary already goes to that bank. So I was so scared. Maybe if I sign this, they can just go pull up my records and see. So you're lying. Back then, like in that moment, I didn't even think that there's data privacy policies that block them from doing such things unless I consent to it. But that's the point. So, what do you wanna earn? How much you earn? I was like, yeah, this, that. They're like, okay.
What did you say?
Now,
What did you say you want to earn?
I was like, you give me 210K, my G.
Gross.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd done the math. Back then, there was no housing levy.
It wasn't too bad.
There was no housing levy at all. How can I keep it in a new man? Where's my camera? If there's one thing that pains me a lot, man, I work long nights to provide for our 2 dogs and my babe. Is housing levy. Viva. So, and then they asked me, the last question they asked me, if you're hired, will you wear a suit like the gentleman in this room? And I was like, yes. Would you shave your hair like the gentleman in this room? No.
You said no.
I told them no.
You had.
Yeah, and the HR was there. I told them no. I'm like, okay. That's it for today. You can go home. Our hiring team will reach out to you with a decision. When Katoka, now I left that room knowing this one has gone. Just because I refused to cut my hair. I think 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, they call me, hey, you got the job. Can you come start doing the onboarding process, you see? That's why I switched jobs. Got there, I used to think working at the bank is gonna be so sensitive, bro. Like, you get there and it's the most freestyle guys I've ever met. Cool guys, the whole department was all men. Bro, come to think of it, every department I've worked in, SOC related, cybersecurity related, is all men.
Really? Even now?
Even now in the international company, it's all men. We only have a project manager who's a woman, and she's lovely, Julia. She fears me, I don't know. I think it's because of my voice. Who's the project manager? And she went, and we stopped doing project management on our own because we're like, how can we do it now? We can't do it as well as Julia does it. Because now there's these tools we use at work to track progress of the individual projects we're working on. So it's Julia's work to always remind us and tell us, hey, by the way, we have this sprint meeting coming up. Please provide the updates. Make sure this and this is ready to go, ready for presentation by then. So it has to now take me off the technical work I'm doing, the project I'm doing, to now go do the PowerPoint presentation, this, that, the fourth. When Julia gave birth and went on maternity leave, we all killed that culture. These dudes just present the complete project. They're like, the project is done. You can say it's done. It's working. The documentation is okay. Case closed. That's why for the females who want to join my cybersecurity classes, I usually pay more attention to them because in my experience, they tend to get sidetracked or drop early on compared to men. So I'm always there, like, you have to do it.
Why do you think that's the case?
I honestly can't explain it because it's the same content. It's the same type of duration, for example. But for some reason, you'll just find most of the babes just dropping down to lighter tasks. Yeah. It gets to a point where the technicalities, the technical aspect of things get quite challenging and very few want to exert themselves past a certain level, right? So they'll opt to dial it down to, not want to say easier stuff, yeah, but to stuff that is calmer, right? Calmer in the sense of it's more management, it's more laid back, it's more controlling, right? You control the situation from the outside. It's more reporting compared to being inside and actually going back and forth with the problem. Not to say that there's no women in the cybersecurity industry. I've actually now where I was working previously, there was a whole department for GRC, governance, risk and compliance, for the cybersecurity aspect of things. That was all women.
Okay.
So there is a balance in things, but I genuinely urge more and more babes to join cybersecurity. It's please join cybersecurity. Don't cut out because it's getting a bit too challenging because it's this, that, the fourth. You can do it. Just be a bit more patient with it.
I have a theory around that because I've done a bit of research on the brain and how it learns and different personality traits with what they're more inclined to. And it could be wrong and it's not generalization.
Cool.
More men, I think this is general knowledge, but more men use their left brain a lot more. And women use their right brain a lot more. And if you look at what the left brain is inclined to do, it's a lot of the technical, logical, analytical. It's why
hands-on
there's
stuff.
the whole theory around men being more logical.
Yeah.
We use all parts together, but men lean towards the left and women lean towards the
Not all there.
towards the right, where it's more creative, more management. So I've always been very interested in learning why, and I think there's some truth to that.
Yeah.
As I see it.
More babes, just come in. It's a very welcoming field. In as much as it's cutthroat, you have to earn your keep. You're always gonna be compared to the next guy who unfortunately may or may not be a man, right? Because KPIs are there. You still have your obligations towards your employer. You may not like how things are done. You see, like in my department, bro, si upashana hapo na hapo. Na inaisha. Like, where I was working at the bank and they're all niggas, yeah? Let's tell someone the bloody blunt truth there and then. Tunapashana, grab some laughs. If it hurt your feelings, you go outside, catch a break, come back, we're good. Then later on, we got two babes who joined the department. And all that had to dial down. We can't be as more vocal because this is how men interact. You understand? Have you been to a room where men are playing FIFA? Do you hear the insults being hurled around there? It's actually not insults. It's just how we relate. It's banter, right? But you can't, even if you're playing FIFA with a babe, you can't relate to them like that. It's all around how we relate.
But also depends on the babe. They're different. I think.
You think a babe who's grown up with niggas all her life, 6 brothers, she's the only girl. Yeah.
Okay.
She's gonna be different compared to a babe who was raised 5 babes, 1 guy.
Okay. So
It's actually 6 babes now. Yeah.
you were at this company
Yeah.
earning 210,
210,000.
and this is like a year after campus.
Yeah.
A year after campus. So then you're learning. Now are you specializing at this point?
At that point, I was already specialized.
Okay. Into.
At work, I was, in as much as you're still doing the general cybersecurity monitoring, yeah, security monitoring for the bank's infrastructure and making sure the bank isn't infiltrated. Yeah?
Yeah.
There was still the forensic side of things that I was very, very specialized into. Like, that was what I wanted to do at that time.
Forensic.
Cybersecurity forensics.
Tell me.
You're the guy who goes on the crime scene to investigate what has happened after a major cybersecurity incident happens.
Okay.
A company has been hacked, you're the guy they call to go investigate and give reports, do forensics. It's just like a normal crime scene for policemen and this, that, the fourth. But now the cybersecurity side of things. So that is what I majorly wanted to do. But it's still a bank, and there are other things that need to happen. So, and since all the systems that need to protect the bank are working and are being monitored visually, rarely do you get cases that need you to unlock your forensic side.
Okay.
So it settles down more into projects, doing this and that for the bank, this occasional till haifanyi, occasional people's balances are wrong, you know.
Okay.
Now, that is where I learned to work with other departments. Because it's a bank, there's more people working for the company, there's more departments working for the company, there's more bureaucracy, there's more processes. You can't do some things minus getting clearance or approvals from other people, right? So you have to be patient again because the clearance you're waiting for is from Amze, who's in Mombasa, having the time of his life. And that's why I left the bank.
Was this at cooperative or you moved to cooperative?
I can't say the name. They ain't paying me enough.
Okay, okay. Then you moved to
My current company. Now you have to really understand that in between I was on contract with other different companies. Short-term contracts, side gigs, what people call side gigs, yeah? 3-month contracts, 4-month, 5-month, 6-month contracts. They need a guy to come sort this immediately. I'm the guy they call. They need a guy to come do forensics for this event. I'm the guy they call. They need a guy to come build their SOC. I'm the guy they call. So when you look at my CV, there's still all those work experiences, all those side gigs in a whole different term that also adds to my experience as an engineer.
I see.
Yeah.
Now, did you resign without a plan or you knew when you're resigning the bank, you left the bank?
And this is Africa. You don't live without a plan.
Some people do though.
Yeah, I did live without a plan. Here's the thing though. When I was leaving the first company, where I was like, y'all ain't paying me enough. And then I got the bank job, 210K up from my 120. I was like, yeah, man, I can even start tomorrow. So I went home, called my cousin who had helped me get the job. And I was like, what's the process of resigning for me? Considering I was never hired. And like, so I don't have anywhere in my contract that says I need to give X amount of days in notice. Because I've gone through the internship, trainee, consultant, then became an engineer type of growth, right? So it's like you call HR and discuss. So at this point, as I was saying, that company had seen potential in me and they wanted to lock me in by making me do other courses on bond. So they pay those courses for me, put me on bond. That way I can't live for X amount of years. And now it had gone from 1 year to 2 years, 3 years type of bond. Kumbuka, I'm feeling I'm undervalued.
Yeah.
I'm not being paid enough. Now you want to lock me in to this company for another 2-3 years just because you're taking me to do this big course. So I never took the course. So when I'm talking to HR, he's like, we're seeing a brighter future with you. Why do you want to leave? We were planning to do this with you. I was like, at this point, I was like, I now just can't tell them I'm doing another job. Like I got a better paying job. So I told HR I'm traveling out of the country. My family is relocating and I have to go. So yeah, I have to go. They're like, okay, then if that's the case, then we'll just have to deduct notice, etc, etc. I was like, what deduction of notice? So yeah, we have to deduct notice. You're not an engineer. We were preparing a contract to put all of that in there, this, that. I was like, tutapeleka na ufala hapa. So I was like, okay, cool. I'll take my leave days as notice. So they prorated my leave days and what was left and deducted said notice from that.
Right.
Then I went to work for the bank. I remember that next month was so hard. That next month was so hard. I had to buy suits. Bro, me, I was pulling up to work like this, man. So I don't own a single suit in my life. And now I need suits for this new job. And on top of that, I still need fare. On top of that, I still have responsibilities at home. So the money that was deducted, okay, it was about 50%. Eh? So whatever 40% has left needs to get me suits, need fare to go to the office. I need to still support my family from that. Need to have my own cash to do my own thing here and there. That month was hard. Banks pay on 25th. I'm telling you that 25th. Strong. Nilipingika mbaya. And that was the same day I actually now moved out of my parents' house. So, in as much as the bank got to a point where the politics was getting too toxic, it built me to some extent because the bank is when I moved out of my parents' house, was able to start my own life, how people usually say, get my own house, furnish it. It's through the bank that I got my first car.
Nice.
It's through the bank that I actually traveled
What was
on
your first
vacation.
car?
There's no way Jeff knows my first car. He knows my first car. He knows he will live with you, so you always know.
You guys know his first car?
How do you know? Let's cut this thing here, man. You know, as a man who can interview, research on the guy you're gonna be interviewing.
You came to interview me.
Yeah.
First car.
My first car was Subaru Forester,
The
Campion.
one you drive now?
Yeah.
Oh, that was.
But no, okay.
I
Now
know
I get her
Campion,
now. I get her
yeah.
now. My first ever car was a Subaru Impreza, GG2,
You haven't
2006.
said that publicly.
Wrote it off in a car accident. Second car was a 2012 Subaru Forester. I still had it, but I now dropped it to my mom because she needed it more than I did.
Okay.
So mainly, I was now going matatus to work, this, that, before. Now, Campion is he's my first car cause it's my mine.
Okay.
Like, there's no way it's ever gonna go.
Okay,
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
So you've never talked about the first.
On my socials, I've talked about it before, but it's not just something I always talk about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really sad.
It's it's like that dog you had that died when you were in class 2. You don't talk about that dog.
Yeah.
You talk about the dog you have now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about you leaving the bank. You had a plan.
Yeah.
So you're resigning. What are you doing? What are you thinking to do?
So again, I worked at the bank. I'm one guy I'm like Ronaldo, but I love Messi. Messi, all day, every day. You know those players, those star players who you need to keep playing just enough amount of times to keep them happy? You need to involve them in just enough decisions to keep them happy, to keep them in the team. I'm that type of guy. So if you're gonna bring me in, because my expectations when walking into work at the bank was things are gonna be serious as fuck in here, right? Projects are gonna be serious. Access is gonna be serious. Then I get in there and I have to write an email requesting for access that I need to do my job that's on the JD. So I'm thinking, the person who gave me this job knew I needed this type of access. And this is just an example, by the way. So how come I've not gotten the job, and now I've been onboarded, I've been here X amount of months, but hardly I've never been given this type of. Now I have to start looking for someone, signing papers, this, that, therefore, to get. It just, like, so many things. It's the small things, yeah? It starts with one thing, you gloss over it, then the next thing, and then the third thing you start paying attention. You're like, kumbu kuko hivi. So more and more of that, and Viva Gen Z, it just gets to a point you get fed up. You're like, how long will I live like this, right? So my highlight at the bank, in as much as I did aid in some of the forensic, the incidents that did happen and they doing forensics, one, they would still outsource for people to do that job. It didn't make sense because you have people inside who already can do that job. So why not just pay them to do their job well? Two, the hours we were working, as a single person, when I got the job, it was okay. But then you get someone and you're gonna spend more time around this person. It starts conflicting. And it's a bank, yeah? So every now and then there's an emergency that I need to now leave this date right now and come here to the office, you know? Three, just that fatigue of having to go to the office. It at some point it just got to me and it didn't make sense. Okay? It didn't make sense that I have to spend a whole 2-3 hours on the road to go to the office or get back home. I didn't like how fatigued I get when I got back home. So for time, just gotten home, you are thinking of gaming or doing this, that, the fourth, but you just get and you're so tired. You just pass out. I didn't like that. So a combination of all those things, and also I think the biggest thrill I ever got working for the bank was migrating them from a very legacy system, banking system, to a new, more scalable and more future-proof banking system. That was very thrilling for me. Happened over the span of like 4, 5, 6 months. Once that finished, I was back into that slump again. And I'm like, it's just the normal stuff. And then there's this guy called Lagat. Lagat. Say, akukaa mimi, and he's trying to fucking micromanage me. Telling me, this guy, Anatubongangia, he's the only guy I don't talk to from my boys, Uko. And he's still doing the same. Listen, my guy, you will get stoned out here one day. I'm telling you as a friend. Change or perish. Simple. Simple. So yeah, man. So now I have to deal with Langat and deal with this slow feeling life again. It was just long. So again, I got back into job searching. And this time, it was targeted. I was not gonna apply for a Kenyan company. It was just gonna be, if it's in Kenya, it has to be an international company with an office in Kenya.
How long were you at the bank?
I was at the bank for like another year, because I got into the bank in February and I left in March. Yeah, so clean year.
Okay.
Yeah. Simple.
Then you
got this new job, and it's really nice.
Through direct application.
Bro, everything in my life has been on merit, directly applying. Even the one my cousin plugged me, I had to apply, I had to do the tests, and I got it on merit. Same to the bank, same to all the other side gigs I've gotten. In as much as with the side gigs, it's really sometimes it's a collaborative effort. Yeah, because I'll have a guy who worked for that company on a tender, and they've called him again, so he needs me on his team to go do 1, 2, 3 for that company. There's that aspect. But every mainstream job I've got is on merit and directly applying. How else do you think I have over 3,800 rejection emails? Yeah. So, yeah, man, got in. The culture is nice. Everyone is young. Everyone is understanding. When you're working with people whom you think are like, life becomes easier. You don't rub feathers like often, and in the event you do, you can de-escalate very, very quickly. Okay, I am a tier 3 SOC analyst, cybersecurity engineer, right? Tier 3, I majorly now look for the bad guys and make sure they don't get to my employer's company. My employer is protected against any and all threats that may come from the bad guys. So I'm the cop that is on the streets looking for bad guys. I usually it's so tricky explaining to old people what a SOC analyst is. Because they didn't go around computers. They don't understand what hacking is. Yeah. They don't understand that you can be hacked. Yeah. So me wambia tu maze, mimi ni watchman on computer maze. And then they see you driving a car and they're like, oh, so watchman on computer pays so much, eh? So yeah, so my day to day, I work nights.
Okay.
Yeah, so when people are sleeping, I'm up. Okay. So my body clock went out the window. I don't sleep normally. I'll sleep when time allows me to sleep. 2, open my computers, turn on the screens. I'm gonna be monitoring the network. Usually in the evening, because I work nights, yeah? In the evening, when there's less of human traffic, but there's more threat vectors lurking around. Because the bad guys know people have left the office. The bad guys know there's less people working right now. So it's the opportune time to do some badness, right? So let's say badness.
Bad things.
Some bad things, some bad things. So in as much as I'm not gonna be having to, and this is also why I left the bank, because there's no way, as a whole cybersecurity analyst, you're calling me to tell me your mouse isn't working. What am I supposed to do? The same department here, you're calling me to tell me you can't log into your Teams, and then I try help you, and you're like, nilisahau password. You babe,
Man, also.
there's a babe who put me through this for a whole 3 days, Mazi, and it's just because she'd forgotten her password. I've never healed. I wanted to deal with less people. That's why I left the bank. Because, okay, you're dealing with someone's keyboard not working. Someone has forgotten their password. You're helping them reset it. This, that, the fourth, yeah? When will you actually protect the bank? When 4 out of the 8 hours you're at work, you're on calls with people who've forgotten their passwords. When will you actually do and practice what you went to school to learn? The certifications you spend so much money on, when will you use them? Those skills. So I wanted, because again, you see, when you settle into such a life, it becomes boring.
Yeah.
Unajua tu unaingia ofisi, whole day, huwezi login, huile amesahau mouse, it becomes very boring. Now, in this other job, where the job is the job, there's threat vectors that you need to mitigate against. There's risks you need to understand. There's teams you need to collaborate with to solve some problems, right? It's thrilling, keeps you on your toes, right? And you grow, and that's why it's gotten to a point where I feel like I've done so much of technical stuff. I now want to go to the other side of things and sit with the people who make decisions to run this company, So yeah, my day to day, after my screens are all booted, I'll get the shift handover from the person who's on day shift, understand what they were working on. If there's any leftover things that needed to be done on their shift, but they couldn't because they have to go home. And that's one thing about international companies that I really like. When it's home time, it's home time.
Yeah. True.
There's no overtime.
Yeah.
There's no calling you when you're
After
off.
hours. Yeah.
If you're offline, you're offline. So I'll get that handover, I'll understand it. If there's anything I need to work on to finish that job, I'll get started on that. If there's nothing, I'll settle in, start monitoring, understand what threats are there in the day, the trends of those threats, understand what traffic, like how the traffic was in that day, because that also advises some of the things that happen on shift, right? Because if there was very minimal human traffic, there might or might not be some other untoward things that were already happening during that time, and they might be spilling into your shift, right? Sometimes it's just a normal day. It's a Friday and guys left the office early. So you have a calm shift. If the day was hell for the guys during their shift, it's gonna be hell for you as well. When it's not, I'm also now in charge of the project side, because again, the general thought is usiku hakuna kazi mingi, so you can handle and push more of the project work compared to the people who are working during the day and dealing with all the user needs. They don't have as much time as I do to push projects, so most of the project work is on me. System audits is on me. That's the type of stuff my day-to-day is looking like.
And monitoring, when you say monitoring, is it actually just monitoring?
Yeah,
Looking.
it's just looking at screens.
Interesting.
I have like 4 or 5 screens that I just look at. This and each screen is displaying a different solution, a different security solution that is meant to do one specific thing. There's one that is looking at malware, okay? There's one that is looking at emails coming in and leaving the network. There's one that is looking at the full network, and through it you can access some other bits of the other software, and then all that is aggregated into a solution, the SIEM solution, yeah? Security integrated, I forget what a SIEM is, sorry. Integrated to the SIEM, it's the tool used to monitor the larger network, right? Okay. So that is what alerts you on what is happening. There's some solutions that don't go directly to SIEM, that don't report to SIEM rather, like the ticketing solutions, those where if Ezra raises a ticket that he is unable to access this system on his laptop, it comes to us. That doesn't go to SIEM, so we have to monitor that from the ticketing system itself, right? So there's a lot going on, but it's all just you monitor, you see something, you respond.
I see.
Simple, yeah.
So at this point, you're in a good place. You like your job.
Yeah.
Your career is thriving. I'm really
Yeah.
curious to understand, as you reflect your entire career, what would you say has been your pit, your career pit, your life pit? What has been a really difficult time for you?
Difficult time for me career wise. It's been the slumps where you feel you're not progressing. Yeah. And sorry to say, I've only experienced that while working for Kenya. Kenyan companies have this culture that I hope one day changes to get you in and then just keep you there. Just tulia to
Relax.
relax.
The grow.
Tulia tu. And it's one of the things that also irked me when I was working at the bank, yeah? Day one I get there and my guy goes, bro, if day one,
Julia.
shida ni hatujapewa laptop, tulia manzi. Acha kuuliza maswali mingi.
Oh, it's like they're compressing you.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, okay. But then you realize ni kutulia tu.
That's the culture.
Welcome to job no natulia. Unacheki.
Yeah.
It's good to be that because I'm one person who wants more all the time. I chase it, I get it. The gratification, the payoff is so like it's so tiny, and then I already want the next thing.
Yes.
So if I'm in that cycle of Tulia, you might get a flash of thrill here and there. It gets boring. Two, like, it sucks that in Kenya, they would rather hire someone and pay them more than promote you. Just because you're Gen Z, you're young, you're not this, you're not that. It doesn't make sense. And remember when we were talking about years of experience and demonstrable skills? It sucks that you have the demonstrable skills and you lack, say, another 2-3 years that these guys put on the job notification, right? So they go outside and they hire this new guy who comes in, and you have to teach them their job.
Yeah.
So why the fuck are they being paid more than you when they could have just promoted you, given you a 20, 30, 40% increase on your salary and be good? Definitely that 30%, 40% increase is not going to be anywhere near what they're going to pay this guy, the new guy they've named. So if ever it does change, Kenyan companies need to promote from within. Promote from within. If I was to have my own company and run it a same way, on the hiring side, there's going to be a policy to always promote from within. Promote everyone, let everyone go up a step, and then bring the interns weke huku chini. Let them start learning, let them get those new opportunities, let them get access. I think I'm the only sane person in this Kenya, bro. It doesn't make sense. Like, am I lying? You have seen that trend.
Yeah.
Bringing old guys from retirement just because they had 20 years of experience to come be CTOs. Yet in those 5 years they retired, the tech has progressed so fast. It's so far from where they left it. So they come in and they start imposing those old ways on you new guys who are working with the new stuff. It just doesn't make sense, man.
So
Promote from within.
here's for Edward.
Yeah.
He's started out, Maliza campus, he's looking for a job. How should he increase his chances of getting an international company? Because Edward is just as driven as you. What should I do? I'm getting my certificates, I'm learning. What else can I do that will put me on the map to get a role to an international company?
Step one, your CV needs to be on point. How do I put it? See, your CV at the point of contact between you and any hiring team, any hiring manager, is gonna be your CV. When I meet you, the first thing I see is you. I see how you're dressed, your shoes, your hair, etc. At this point, I don't know what masters you did. I don't know if you know 1+1. I don't know any of that. I just see you. So your first point of contact that you really need to sort out and make sure is in order is gonna be your CV. Okay. Once your CV is in order, I usually advise to, because these days everything is going through a filtration system. So are our CVs on LinkedIn, on Fuzu, on Brighter Monday, any job site you might using to apply, right? So you need to tune your CV to get past those filters, right? And the best way you can do that is using AI tools as well. So I usually advise my students to use resume.io to build your CV. They provide very good templates and very good descriptions with very good keywords for the job you want to apply for the roles you've done, etc. And they have very good templates that segment what you need to be presented and how you need it to be presented very nicely. And then there's, I forget the name, but I'll let you know. We'll edit it in.
Yeah.
Now upload that CV from resume.io onto that website, and it's now gonna give you the visibility. It's gonna score your CV.
Is it job scan?
No, it's not JobScan. JobScan is so archaic. This runs on proper
Oh,
AI.
you need to edit like a.
Oh, you're affiliated. Sorry. So it's gonna scan your CV and it's gonna score it.
Okay.
Anything above 90% is gonna pass any filtration system.
Oh.
So that's what you're gonna be aiming for, and it's free. It's a free tool, and it's gonna after it grades your CV, if it's below 90%, it's gonna give you points you need to change, to correct, to make your CV more outstanding, right? Past that, it's now just the human aspect. As long as you've gotten past the system that is standing in between your CV, leaving your computer to the desk of that HR, you're good.
Advice. What advice would you give to Edward? Parting shot, like 3 pointers. What are your compasses that you'd say, Edward, listen, focus on this? I know you mentioned basics, but I'm give him 3 points.
At this point, it's gonna go back to who you are as a person. Fix yourself. Once you fix yourself, you attract the right things. You will sit next to people whose ideals and goals and paths are aligned to yours. And if you're aligned to such people, your path is gonna grow with them. Okay? And it cuts across life, across everything, not just career-wise. If you want drugs, sit next to guys who do drugs. You'll get lots of drugs. If you want spiritual nourishment, sit next to people reading the Bible, reading the Quran, etc. You'll get your spiritual nourishment. If you're a mom, a dad, and you want more guidance on parenting, etc., sit next to parents who've done it before you. You'll get that. You're never this is gonna sound so sad and so egotistic, but you're never the first person to go through something.
Yeah.
Whatever you're going through, you're not the first person. You can choose to choose that and let that encourage you, knowing that there's people out there who've been where I am and they've made it and they can make it. You can choose to let that get to you in a negative way. That mazesi tumefanya hizo vitu. You're not the first person type of motive. Fix yourself. Number 2, you need to make sure everything around you works to what you want. You can do this in whichever way you want, be it a clean way, be it manipulating people, be it using people, be it being used by people to get to where you want. I know that sounds very controversial, but look at it like this, yeah? Is it, who's this person who sang this, Sweet Dreams Are Made of This?
Beyonce.
Hey, honey, no. Who am I to disagree?
Yeah, it's.
I've traveled the world on the 7th sea. Yeah, it's not Beyonce. It's not Beyonce. In that song, she said, some of them want to use you. Some of them want to be used by you. Honey, it's not Beyonce. Let me just ask ChatGPT here. But if you're in tech and you don't have ChatGPT, you read the mix, yeah? If you don't have ChatGPT on your telephone and you're in tech, you're a sham. Back to what I was saying. You need to be as cutthroat as possible. It's sad that that's the world we live in these days, but you have to want something and you have to go get it violently. No, okay, don't fight. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have to go at it with your everything. Okay? Don't leave anything on the table. If you really want something and you want it really bad, chase it to the logical conclusion. Ile yenye, if God asks you today, did you really chase it? You will say, yes, I did. That's where the whole, you'll meet people, they'll want to use you, you'll want to use them to get where you're going. It's sad, it's the life we live. You have to get yourself, you have to win, man. I have this very competitive mentality where everything to me is a competition or a competitor that I have to decimate. Be it when I'm gaming, be it just normal life. If I put my mind onto something, I have to win. Whichever version of victory that looks like, I have to win. If victory looks like being number one, I'll be number one. If victory looks like having the most of X thing or X points, etc., I will have them more. Like, that is what I usually want. Next, maze usiogope kuuliza maswali. Ask a lot of questions. In life, the more you question, the more you build your own reality, the more you write your own story, and the more you move away from social norms. Ask more questions. Ask the hard questions. You'll see like life will change for you, because now you'll start asking questions like, so I have the skills, why do I need 10 years of experience, yet I already have the skills? You start shaping your reality like that. So now you start looking for demonstrable jobs that want demonstrable skills. Your opportunities start aligning to that. You ask someone a question, ask it shall be given. You might think this is the baddest person, the scariest person, but just ask. Send that text, or rather, that text, that DM, whatever, that email. Ask questions. Right? I've got this cousin of mine. He's in and out of jobs, and it's because he asks so many questions. They let go of him, and as he's on his way home, on the next billboard, yeah, he's gonna look at that email there. He's gonna email and ask for another job, and they're gonna reach out and say, okay, we don't. This isn't the channel you use to ask for jobs. Please, if you want to ask for a job, use this email. He asked, he's now had the channel to ask for, like proper channel to ask for a job. Now, he'll go and send that email, it's going to get to the right person, and what happens. Ask questions. Don't just sit and take things the way they are taken. There's this song by NF, it's called Nate. Nate, N-A-T-E.
Okay.
NF is Nathan. Like, his real name is Nathan. Okay. So in that song, he's really talking to his childhood self.
Nice.
In that song, he speaks a lot of, like, he's really recalling a lot of things that happened to him when he was a kid and talking to his younger self as if he's in the room with him, reminiscing and talking about things they do different. Listen to it. NF Nate, that's the song, yeah? If I was to meet my 5-year-old me, firstly, I look at the things I've achieved right now, and that kid never thought of that. That kid just wanted sweets, gaming, like which was an angel with friends, riding his bike, back in the house, sleep. That kid hated school. That kid hated school. But he 5-year-old me, what will I tell him? One, to not listen to people. Because I grew up listening to a lot of people and trying to make everyone's comments, opinions, thoughts, insights work for myself. Yet, you know, as a kid, you're doing it because it's your elders. Listen to your elders. Yeah. Do this, that, the fourth. Because that's what we Africans have been raised to grow on. But it gets to a point you have to ask questions. Once you ask yourself some questions, why is this elder of mine giving me unsolicited advice and comparing me to someone else, yet me and that person are not running the same race? We're whole different beings. Your thinking changes, right? So I tell my 5-year-old version of me, don't listen to people. Imagine just do you. Don't listen to people, no matter what. You listen, okay, you can choose to take this in and not take this in, filter. But end of the day, what do you want to do?
Stay true.
End of the day, because I've been raised on one principle by my dad. My dad's my best friend. He and I go way back, by the way. I think since when I was born. Yeah. My dad always tells, like, he's raised me on the premise that you have to stand by your thoughts and your actions. My dad would find me doing something and he'd ask me, are you okay with what you're doing? Like, if someone asked you to stand by your actions or your words right now, would you stand by them? If the answer was yes, he'd leave me alone. If the answer was no, we'd discuss that. So why were you doing this, that, the fourth, when you can't stand by your actions? Why would you say this to someone when you can't stand by your words? You know? Always stand by your actions. And I think that's what's gotten me far, or not so far in life. I stand by what I say and what I mean. Then the last thing will probably be less reactive. Because over the years, I look back and there's some situations I could have handled better. People I would have handled better, were I less reactive. Yeah. Over the years, I know it's youth, it's being a kid. This gets done to you, you want to do it back to them. Sometimes just walk away. Sometimes it's not worth it, unless they're a Manchester United fan. Then really go harm on them. Usikubali mtu wa Man U kukwambia kitu. Yeah, so be less reactive. The less reactive you are, the more you listen, the more you understand, the more you walk away from some situations that tend to tick you off, the better you become as a human being. It's not being the bigger person, as people would like to put it, but just be less reactive. Vitu zingine si lazima uinput. Vitu zingine si lazima ucomment. Check kwambia vitu zingine, okay, you think what you, like, but like these days, like my content creating career has blossomed. Thank God, yeah? I go through comments. I go through all my comments actually. Like there's no comment I get on any platform of mine that I have not gone through. And I have filtered some with mean words, abusive words, etc, etc. And every week or two, I'll go through the blocked comments, the ones that never made it public, the filtered ones. And I'd see the comment and I'll just think, you know what? At least you got it off your chest, man. Hez has bought his babe a car. Okay, anajifanya nini, anajifanya rich sana. Bro, at least you got it off your chest, you know? Because when you ukishikilia vitu zingine, they implode. And now, you don't choose the time they implode, and you don't choose who they implode on. No. But you got it off your chest. You said Hez anaringa sana, anaona may make it in life, and you felt good. You hit send on that comment, na ikaenda, and you're like, I have commented and I can sleep peacefully. Good. Me, I won't react. Me, I won't reply. Some people will fight you in the comments for me, and I'll watch them fight, but me, I won't reply. Be less reactive. It's the best way to live life, man. Best way to live life. Hata msewa Red Bull akiniambia Mercedes ain't shit. It's okay. Sio mnaumia sahi. Now, Mercedes.
Before you tell us this very good thing you have for Daisy, Edward, and
am I blushing? is this how I blush?
We have flowers for you, Hez, for the great work you're doing. You're putting yourself out there, which is super hard to do. Aww. And you're sharing your story. We really appreciate you. We appreciate you. And your manager in the background, big shout out to her.
My day one.
Yeah.
We've been through thick and thin with this babe. My growth in cybersecurity and my experiences and what I wish I had when coming up in the industry. In as much as you make it, there's still some things you wish you had. And for me, that is someone who would actually teach me what I needed very early on in cybersecurity. And that would have put me on a very different trajectory, maybe even a faster one or a higher one, that would have gotten me to different levels in the industry, right? So with that thought in mind, I decided to teach cybersecurity. And this is because once people knew that this is my field of profession, yeah, they approached me, can you mentor me? Can you mentor me? Can you mentor me? Now, I'm not someone who believes in mentorship because I think and deeply feel that they lose track of what they stand for very early on, very early doors, and they add very little value.
Really?
There's this saying, I won't give you fish, but I'm going to teach you how to fish. I want you to take me to the river and teach me how to fish. Because when you teach me how to fish, I'll feed myself and I'll grow other fishing skills from that, right? That's why when I saw, rather when I came into this industry and saw the type of gatekeeping that was going on, people people making cybersecurity a status, a society type of status thing, yeah? It felt bad. You know, back in the day when in the village, ukiwa daktari, engineer, you are the one. They want, like, people in this industry, sorry to say, make it look like that. Make it look like this unattainable thing that you have to invest so much money, so much time, etc., to get to where people have gotten. So that's when I started teaching myself. I teach cybersecurity classes, student on student, online classes. You reach out to me, we discuss your interests, and from your interest, we can build a rough cybersecurity map of what you might want to do, and we'll start you from the basics. Okay, there's some students who come and they're already like well versed in the basics. They're actually engineers like myself. We're now just going deeper into specialization. Yeah, that's a whole different use case. I don't think that applies to Edward and Daisy right now. But for Edward and Daisy, you're gonna come, we're gonna have that conversation on day one. I'm gonna tell you what cybersecurity entails. You're gonna understand what you're getting yourself into. Because in university, I've come to just the numbers as well. I've come to understand many people drop out of university because they were never prepared for what they want to do. You got an A, you went to do medicine, but you never really knew what medicine entailed. Okay? Okay, you got the A in biology, chemistry, this, that, the fourth, but medicine wasn't your thing. Had you had someone to walk you through and say, okay, in medicine, we're going to be using chemistry to do this. We're going to be using biology to do this. We're going to be cutting through the human body because of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're gonna find these hardships. This might be difficult. There's these units that might be easy. This, that, the fourth. Just give you an overall feel before you get there. Before you choose what you want to do, that would greatly drop the dropout rates in university. So I adopted that into my teaching because I want to see my students excel. There's no way, it doesn't feel good for you to start something and not finish. And that's something I always also tell them. Well, if you choose to start it, you have to finish it. No matter how hard it gets, you have to finish it and then change now.
Okay.
You'll have finished, you have the skills, you have your certificates. In future, if you ever needed to call upon this license, this certification, these skills, you can. You'd rather have the skills and not choose them than need them and not have them. So, yeah, so far I've got about 38 students. Classes every day, apart from Saturdays and Sundays. Exception Saturdays every now and then, but that's requests. Like if the student requests, hey, I may need more time, more attention on this subject. Can you prepare more exercises, more examples? Can we have a different session? Can you teach this in a different way? I didn't understand. We will have that on a Saturday, but mainly Mondays to Fridays. And students. And I also help them tune their CVs with the skills we just talked about. Tune your CVs, interview preps as well. When you do get that interview, we will do your mock interview. I'll ask you these questions. I'll make them easy, hard. From the easy questions, tell me about yourself, type of questions, to the technical questions that they may ask that were on the job description. So that's something we do. So it's from the basics, from when you're small, as you grow, as you grow, as you grow. You get your certifications, you get that job, you get that interview, we go through that until the end. I purpose to get you up until you get your job, or you get to a point where you now decide what you want to do and you can teach yourself. Because in cybersecurity, there's so many sites and tools that you can use to learn on your own. But you can only make the most of those if and only if you have the right knowledge that can get you there. Don't know if I'm making sense. But yeah, that's just about it. I enjoy teaching. I never thought I'd be a teacher like this, but it's something I really enjoy doing because in the process I get to master the skills that I'm teaching as well. Because as you teach, so do you master. Yeah.
Do you have like you will put a link where they can reach out to you?
Yeah, just send me an email, send me a DM.
Okay.
Again, I don't have such bureaucracies. You can reach me anywhere.
Okay.
Send me a DM on TikTok, on IG, on Twitter. Send me an email, send me a text. I'm down. I'm down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hez, this was super cool. This is our closing tradition.
You're good.
Asante sana.
You're good.
Thank you so much. We're good.
Viva. We're done.